Builds. Either you make one or follow others. Build varies between different roles and the weapons you're using. The build is the core of one's character. They generally define how strong or weak the character is. This is probably the most unique thing about Toram. The freedom to make your own builds. In gaming terms, character's build refers to the arrangement of stat and skill points or gear for your character, selected by a player to best fit a character for the tasks expected to be encountered at a certain stage of a game. When making a character builds, most people have only these two things in mind. 1. Make your character strong. And 2. Based on one's playstyle. With that, a question comes in mind. What makes a build strong? As said in the previous video, Toram has a lot of builds to offer, but some are preferred a lot more. By strong I don't only mean strong as in strength, DPS or high numbers, but the strength of the build itself. What do I mean by that? By build strength what I mean is its capability to stand and do well even when in under extreme amount of pressure by the current state of the game. Or shortly, the build's ability to do well in every part of the game. Tank builds, even without high damage output, also can be strong. Before we proceed, I would like to clarify that we will discuss about identifying factors that makes a build strong. I will somewhat drop the idea of fun builds and look things from a meta perspective. With that out of the way, let's continue. A good build should excel at one thing and be more focused on their dedicated roles. You have to be wise in using your skill points. You are not gonna build healing and minstrel support skills if you are a DPS. Though you can do that. But you are gonna spread thin most of your skill points in doing so. And will most likely excel at nothing. This is mostly the reason why most DPS builds are Glascan and Hyper Carry type. Or a character with strong offensive power but are too fragile and can't afford to get hit or they are dead. The name describe itself. A glass cannon. Probably also the reason why tanks are just stone walls, or is something that has high defenses, durability and vitality, but have little to no attack power. They can take damage like hell, but cannot dish out. Well, you can say it is because they don't have damage scaling stats or because they build MTL and VIT stats. But why? You can tank with just VIT stats alone. A paladin can tank. So, what's stopping you? Well, because tanking with paladin is not as effective as tanking with pure MTL tank. I'm not saying that paladins are bad tankers. What I'm saying is VIT MTL is the best, the strongest combination, as it allows you to be resistant to ailments. If that's the case, then why we rarely see supports? They also focus in one thing, buffing. Well, the main reason is no one needs them. Nah, just kidding. It's because most support skills are accessible by DPS and tanks. And how supporting skills are kinda shit. Some stats apart from attack CDCR are completely ignored, making the support buffs gained from both minstrel and dancer's skills subpar, useless to no purpose. And also how the skill description is lacking and kinda misleading to new players. Take satellite arrow as an example. It just said that next stat affects power. That is all. They say. They didn't say how much, or the scaling. Not only that, but they also didn't state that this skill gains 10% physical pierce per level. So, why am I pointing this out? It's because there are some skills that are really good and some that are really bad that we don't know because of these kinds of descriptions. Example, minstrel skills. A lot of strong buffs. Like this gives 15% DTE at 10 stacks. Really strong if you use elemental weapons. Or this gives 200% accuracy at 10 stacks. But like I said before, I don't really think that people use this much. Because Most people don't really care much about their accuracy and dodge rate. Also, the sad part is you can only play one song at a time, which make things even worse for supports. In today's game environment, min-maxing is the new thing. By min-maxing, it is optimizing a character by assigning all, or nearly all, skill points to the skills essential to that character's success in a specified role and environment, and no points to other skills, rather than distributing skill points more evenly across attributes. This is probably the reason why hybrids are not viable for today's standards. Hybrids are the builds that is a combination of classes. Examples like semi-tank DPS, mage, supports, or cross-hybrid DPS like sword DMD, bow katana, and sword fu. A hybrid build can perform more than one role simultaneously. They are jack of all trades, but master of none. Take botanus as an example. In my opinion, they are the perfect hybrid builds. Katana compensate what most bows lack, the survivability. But in doing so, you are lowering your damage output by not equipping arrows, in exchange for increase in survivability. Also, since you are a hybrid between two classes, your damage is definitely lower compared to pure builds. As with hybrid builds, your damage potential is also splitted. Take bow katanas for example. Most botana builds have a split scaling between unsheathed and attack percent dart, compared to bow that only focus on increasing attack as much as possible. The issue with hybrid classes is they are typically behind in pretty much everything they do in large scale stuff, like on high levels ulti bosses. A strange unique hybrid DPS is kinda hard to make it work, unless you have the budget for it. I'm not saying that they are bad, just because they are unviable for now doesn't make them weak. A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one is actually the full phrase. There are times where a hybrid is better than a pure build. A hybrid build can be versatile in any situation as they have a lot of skills in their arsenal. Also, hybrids take advantage of the positive characteristics of their varying skills or abilities to achieve a better result. Don't get me wrong, some hybrids, the build itself is strong. But like I said, sometimes the hybrid's complexity is its greatest enemy. When building a character, you should always take optimization into consideration. A build should excel at what it should specifically do. I have made this video to help you gain knowledge and guide you in making your own build or improving it, rather than just straight up following others. And to those who plays fun build or don't follow the meter, I do not mean nor I will condescend your build and playstyle, because at the end of the day, it always boils down to preferences. That is all I can think of for now, and I know it's been a while. So, thank you for listening to my pep talk. If you have any question or a topic that you want to discuss, you can always leave it in the comments below. Alright. Thanks for watching. Baku out.
They don't know the truth of us, I'm colorblind, yeah.